As we heard earlier, the NAS program gives students the opportunity to extend their abilities beyond the classroom. But what impact does sport have once students have left school? Tonight we will hear from 4 young people making their way in the sporting world. Please welcome, from the graduating year of 2017, triathlete Sian Munks. From 2021, volleyballer Tom Rea. And also from 2021, cricketer Michael Reynolds. And from 2022, Perth Glory soccer player Grace Johnston. I'll move to the panel and we'll ask a few questions. Hello. Is sport life and death for you?
Sorry. If I'm just sitting here thinking about it now, then obviously I suppose not. But, you know, when you're on court and it's a competitive game and everything's, you know, you're not thinking about anything else, in that moment I suppose it does feel like life and death, I guess.
Have you had a moment where you've thought it's going to go one way or the other?
I think I have that pretty much every game, to be honest. Yeah, actually, in last year's national championship, I remember we went in a quarter-final against Victoria, and that game, just for whatever reason, we just were the best team in the world for one set, and then just a bunch of toddlers in the next set, and you know, volleyball goes to 25 points a set and 21 in the fifth. We took it to the fifth set, and I think we won by 2 points, 28, 26, something like that. And yeah, I think I just about chewed off my nails completely in that game. But yeah, that was about it.
Sian, how are you? Is it life and death for you, do you think, when you're absolutely bursting to get to the finish line?
Yeah, I think it can literally feel like death sometimes when you're getting towards the end. Or on the other hand, I probably have almost killed myself crashing my bike as well. So that can always be a risk when you're going high speeds. But I think, yeah, in the moment you definitely get wrapped up and you think it's the most important thing in the world. And it is a big part of your life as well. I think doing sport competitively, the commitment you have and the time it takes, you put so much into it and you really want the best result. So you really, give it everything you have in that moment. And sometimes it doesn't go your way, but it's definitely always a learning experience. You can always improve on it the next time.
Michael, does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I would agree that it takes up a lot of my life and it is what I'd prioritise the most. But I think it helps a lot in terms of other parts of my life, so I wouldn't say it consumes all of it, but it is definitely an important factor in my life. I'd say whenever it's not going well, whenever cricket's not going well, I feel it, and whenever it's going really well, it improves my day-to-day life 100%.
Grace, you're playing for a professional soccer club. You must feel enormous pressure, I guess, when you're doing your job whenever you get out there on the field.
Yeah, I think it's a bit different now because it is my job, technically, even though it doesn't feel like it. So I feel a bit more pressure towards the club and especially my teammates to perform well for them as well as myself.
What do you, all 4 of you, what do you take out of your school year, your sporting careers at school, that you can use now as you're making your way in the sporting world?
I think a lot of what I take out from school is the balance, because I obviously did ATAR as well, which was a bit difficult for me in my last year as I was training with Perth Glory at the time. But yeah, balance between sport and being able to switch that off and being in a social environment where that's not the only thing you can talk about, and you can learn other things and stuff like that.
I would say in terms of the school sport, it taught me a lot about communicating with others. like in your school sport, it's not everyone's always at the super highest level, or other, you might have different opinions, different backgrounds, and being able to communicate with different people, and having played at 3 different teams since I've left school, it's very important to be able to make yourself part of the team, to communicate with others and build a relationship with your teammates. So I think school really helped with that, being part of multiple teams.
Did your time at school make you a better athlete, or did your time as an athlete make you a better student, do you think?
I think both. It definitely made me a better athlete, because at school you learn so many other different sports as well. So you're not just engrossed in what you do. It broadens your spectrum and how you learn and stuff like that. And also being at uni, it also helps. Again, doing ATAR is a balancing act.
Sian, you've won 14 All-Stars in your competition time at school. How did you balance your school with that achievement at such a high level?
I definitely think that my time management skills were put to the test during school, and I think that's translated into my life right now. I think I'm pretty proud to say I have very good time management skills. Trying to juggle everything. I've now dropped to part-time at work, but I was working full-time and doing between 25 and 30 hours of training a week as well. So trying to fit all that in, and being fresh out of uni and starting full-time work as well, there's a lot to learn in that environment and trying to adjust to that lifestyle. And it definitely took me back to being at school and trying to juggle, training before and after school, studying, doing ATAR, trying to be, present and trying to learn as much as I could at school as well. So definitely used all those skills that I learnt during that time and keep learning now as well.
Tom, what about yourself when you were making your way as a young volleyballer?
I suppose more applicably for me, I didn't really play volleyball until after school, so it's more been balancing that with my uni. A mate of mine gave me great advice, because he's a national athlete. He said, when you're doing uni, you're just doing uni and focus on that as hard as you can, as if that's, as if you're playing a sport. And when you're playing a sport, just focus on that and don't think about uni. And, I say that I struggle. I still go on my phone when I'm studying and stuff like that. But try your best too, at least.
Had the penny dropped for you while you were at school?
What do you mean by that, sorry?
Well, did you understand what that meant about getting your balance right while you're at school? Focus on the one and then focus on the other.
Yeah, I suppose so. When I was at JDC, I wasn't playing much sport then, so I was able to pretty much just focus on school and stuff like that. But definitely once I was confronted with having, 2 passions and 2 commitments on the academic side and sports side, I think I've got the hang of it now, just being able to separate the 2 and dedicate myself to one at a time.
Did the school support you when you were? I mean, obviously you have to compromise at times. You've got to compromise your study. Sometimes you have to compromise your sport because you've got exams or commitments to your schoolwork. But did you feel that you were being supported along the way while you were trying to get that balance right?
Yeah, 100%. I remember before school, basically me and my mates who wanted to play volleyball, we were allowed to come in to this gym here early in the morning before school and set the nets up and just have a hit and train, and we could do that after school, and sometimes we could do it at lunchtime. And a lot of the teachers were very enthusiastic just to see any students doing any sport they enjoy, really. So the school definitely helped us cultivate that passion for sport and gave us an opportunity to practice and just play around.
Sian?
I think I definitely felt supported when I was at school. I think, training, before and after school, I had my own trainings, and we had, requirements. We were supposed to come to school trainings as well. So I definitely had discussions with the teachers about sort of how I could manage doing both, and sort of came to a compromise. Same things, and not just the teachers who were involved in sport, but if I had to go to a competition that was over East and had to miss some classes or some tests, they were very accommodating and let me do them before or after as well.
Did your school ever suffer because of that, because of your commitment?
To an extent. I think that I also had chats with my coach and took time off when I needed, when I had exams that obviously are important to me. And if I was not coping doing both, obviously one had to give. And so whatever I think was most important to me at that time, like if I had nationals coming up, that would probably be priority for that period. But if not, then I would probably focus on school, and if I had to cut back my training to manage that, that's what I would do.
Michael, how did you find it? Was the school behind you, do you think, as you were making your way?
Yeah, 100%. I'd say they always tried getting you to help out a lot in different ways, and I think in terms of when I was doing some other sports, and sometimes again, not always at school, they were very accommodating with that, and I guess it was very useful and supportive in that way, and they were always happy to talk to you about what you're up to as well in terms of progressing through with your sport as well and trying to help you be your best. So yeah.
Yeah, I think one moment that comes to my mind was I missed my mock exams for Year 12. I went to the National Youth Championships and they allowed me to resit them probably about a month later. So that was very helpful for me, and like so much gratitude towards, it was actually Mr. Bosman who sat there in the room with me for all four and allowed me to resit them.
Why did you miss them? Why did you miss your mock exams?
I was away over East.
On a camp or something?
It wasn't a camp. It was probably one of the times I got selected for the Australian camps, but it's like a showcase kind of thing. So you represent WA and you go over there and all the coaches.
Yeah, it's just it wasn't a skiing holiday.
No.
What advice would you give to the students here tonight about the way that they treat their sport and the way they treat their schoolwork this year, in the remaining months of this year, and then obviously into the future?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm probably not qualified to give advice because a lot of the time my schoolwork did come second to my sporting. But I think the main thing is still put effort into both areas of your life. Even if you think one is more valuable, sometimes you've got to let one give a bit so you can have both.
I would say it's a balancing act and compromise. So for me at the moment, I'm still trying to make my way in cricket, and I decided to put uni aside for a little bit and do it online and go to the UK, play cricket over there to see what I can do. And it's really just, especially when I was at school, the sport was, I'm focusing on my sport. I'm not going to worry about my school work, and I'm just going to use it as a way of relaxing, and then therefore I was more willing to come back and do my schoolwork, and I was more efficient. If it was just the afternoon when I was just doing schoolwork, I wasn't very efficient in getting work done. So I use it as like a detox in a way in terms of freshening your mind, and it's a balancing act, and whilst you're trying to pursue a certain dream, you also have to be conscious of the backups in case things don't always go as you so desire. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I, in general, love sport, and one thing I loved about being at school was I got to try lots of different things. So I didn't always do triathlons. I did mostly swimming in high school, and there's just so many opportunities here to try out different sports. So I think like any students at the moment, if you're thinking about trying something, definitely now's the time to give it a go while the opportunity's there. I notice after leaving school, it's definitely a lot harder to find like clubs and friends to get together to make a team to try out different sports. So I definitely say give it a go now. Try out something new, see if you like it. Doesn't always have to be super competitive, just be something, if you're doing ATAR, it's sometimes just a good distraction, take your mind off it, and just have a bit of fun.
A piece of advice I could give, I guess from my own experience, before I started playing volleyball, I wasn't particularly sporty, so I never saw myself in that way. And then I found volleyball, and I just enjoyed it, and so I just played it as much as I could. And, I was able to become pretty decent at it. And I suppose the advice I would give is kind of just back yourself, even if you're not particularly athletic in your eyes. If you find something you love, just give it 100% and try to do your best at it, and you'd be surprised at what you can accomplish.
If I can also add something, I think feel free to try stuff out, because, I mean, when I first turned up to JDC, I thought I was no good at athletics. And then, I mean, now for the past 2 years, I've been coaching athletics here, and I really enjoyed it in my last 3 years at school. And I ended up going and joining like athletics coaching and stuff like that, doing hurdles. And it, you know, you never know what you might find joy in. So always try things out, because you might find something that you really like as well at school.
One more for all of you. What was your favourite sporting moment at John XXIII?
Mine comes to mind straight away. Basically, between year 11 and 12, we had various different kinds of volleyball competitions, and we had so many second places or like fourth places. And I remember leading up to our final indoor tournament when I was in year 12, you know, we were looking a bit rough at training, I can't lie. And then something happened and we all just clicked on the day, and it all just came together, and we went, I don't think we lost a set in the whole tournament. And I so vividly remember the ball like hitting the ground on that last point, and just like, yeah, it was just a fantastic moment of winning that, especially being able to share that moment with my classmates and being brought together closer to people I may not have hung out with beforehand. And yeah, it was just really great, fun memory to share.
Yeah, I think I was quite involved in the school sport side of things, and I had a lot of great memories with a lot of team sports that I did. But I think something that comes to mind would be to getting my 3rd ACC letters. I had to miss.
That's a pretty common achievement, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if I'm the only one still.
You're the only one.
Yeah,
Sian.
I was at least the first to get letters for all 3 sports. And yeah, I had to miss some carnivals earlier in like year 8 or something prior. And cross country, I think, was probably my best sport at the time. It ended up being my last letters that I got in year 12. So crossing the line, knowing that, I was the first person to ever do that, that was pretty cool.
Michael?
Again, I would say it's probably the athletics team. When I was in year 11, we had been going up and down between A and B division. And at the time, Miss Canonan and Miss Player, they wanted us to, they had this stay in A, they had the song and everything. And that was really good. And we managed just to stay in, which was really nice. It was the first time when I'd been part of the athletics team that we'd actually stayed in A division instead of just dropping down. And then the year after, when I was in year 12, we were only 4 points off winning A division, which would have been really cool. And it was really nice team atmosphere, and everyone was rocking up to training. So yeah, that was probably my favourite moment, was those 2 years of athletics. Yeah.
I would probably say my favourite moment was, I think it was our year 12 NAS soccer team. And to be quite honest, we couldn't kick a ball, but we somehow won the tournament. And then we played like another playoff game, and our keeper, who wasn't a keeper, saved a penalty, and we all just absolutely went crazy. So yeah, that's probably my favourite moment.
Is that the best of all your favourite moments, you think?
Yeah, it's definitely
We
up
might
there.
have a vote on which was the best one. That's it. We can't do that. It'll be a 4-way tie. Would you mind congratulating our 4 alumni, Tom Rea, Sian Munks, Michael Reynolds and Grace Johnston?